The story of Helen Keller is one of the most inspiring in human history. Born in the late 19th century, she lost both her sight and hearing before she was even 2 years old. Many people might have believed her life would be full of silence, darkness, and hopelessness. Yet, Helen Keller proved them wrong. Through courage, perseverance, and the help of her dedicated teacher, Anne Sullivan, Helen not only learned to communicate, but also became a writer, speaker, and activist who touched millions of lives. Her life teaches us that no obstacle is too great, and no disability can stop the human spirit from shining. In this story, we will take a journey through her childhood, struggles, education, accomplishments, and legacy. Along the way, you will see why Helen Keller is remembered as a true symbol of hope and determination. Chapter 1. Early Life, 1880 to 1882. Helen Adams Keller was born on June 27, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama, USA. She was the first child of Captain Arthur Keller and Kate Adams Keller. Her father had served as a Confederate officer during the Civil War and later worked as the editor of a local newspaper, the North Alabamian. Her mother came from a respected Southern family. At first, Helen was a healthy, lively baby. She began speaking words and exploring the world like any other child. She was curious, active, and cheerful. But everything changed when she was only 19 months old. In February 1882, Helen became extremely ill. Some historians believe it was scarlet fever, while others think it was meningitis. Whatever the illness was, it left her completely blind and deaf. Suddenly, the cheerful baby was trapped in a silent and dark world. Chapter 2. Darkness and Frustration, 1882 to 1887. Imagine being a young child who can neither see nor hear. For Helen, the world became confusing and lonely. She could not understand why she was cut off from the voices and faces she once knew. She could not ask questions, and no one could explain things to her. Helen developed her own simple signs to communicate with her family. For example, she pulled her mother's hand when she wanted something. But these signs were limited. She often became frustrated when others could not understand her needs. Her frustration sometimes turned into anger. She had frequent temper tantrums, kicking, screaming, and crying. Some relatives even thought she should be sent to an institution. But her mother believed Helen was intelligent and only needed the right guidance. This belief became the light that would soon enter Helen's dark world. Chapter 3. The Arrival of Anne Sullivan, 1887. In 1886, Helen's parents read about a special school for the blind in Boston, Massachusetts, the Perkins Institution for the Blind. They contacted the school's director, Michael Anagnos, who recommended a young teacher named Anne Mansfield Sullivan. Anne Sullivan was only 20 years old when she came to Tuscumbia in March 1887. Like Helen, Anne knew the pain of disability. She had lost much of her own vision due to a childhood illness, though surgery later restored part of it. Anne's arrival was the turning point in Helen Keller's life. She brought not only knowledge, but also patience, creativity, and love. She believed Helen could learn just like any other child. Chapter 4. The Miracle at the Water Pump. Anne began by spelling words into Helen's hand using manual sign language, also known as fingerspelling. She would place an object in Helen's hand, like a doll, and then spell DOLL into her palm. At first,
Helen could not understand that the signs represented words. To her, it seemed like a meaningless game, but Anne did not give up. Then came the breakthrough moment that would change everything. On April 5th, 1887, Anne took Helen to the water pump outside the house. She pumped cool water over Helen's hand while spelling Water into her palm. Suddenly, Helen understood. The cold liquid on her hand connected with the letters being spelled. Helen later described the moment. That living word awakened my soul, gave it light, hope, joy, set it free. That day, Helen learned 30 new words. From then on, her hunger for knowledge was unstoppable. Chapter 5: Education and Growth. After the miracle of the water pump, Helen's world opened up. She quickly learned hundreds of words through touch. She learned to read Braille, a system of raised dots for the blind, and to write using special tools. In 1890, Helen began speech classes at the Horace Mann School for the Deaf in Boston. Though speaking was extremely difficult, she worked hard to learn how to use her voice. Anne Sullivan remained her constant companion and teacher, spelling everything into Helen's hand: books, conversations, lectures, even plays and poems. Helen once said, "Everything I know, I owe to Anne Sullivan."